You have 47 unfinished projects right now. That book you started writing 3 months ago? Chapter 2. The online course you were so excited about? Stuck at Module 3. The app idea that was going to change everything? Still just sketches in a notebook. And here's the kicker. You've probably already moved on to something new. Sound familiar? Today, we're diving deep into why your brain is sabotaging your success. And trust me, the science behind this is wild. Let's start with something called the novelty bias. Your brain is literally hardwired to get excited about new things. When you start a new project, your brain releases dopamine, the good feel chemical that makes you feel like you're on top of the world. You're energized, motivated, and absolutely certain this is the one. But here's where it gets interesting. That dopamine rush, it doesn't last. Research shows that the initial excitement of starting something new typically fades within 2 to 4 weeks. Your brain treats the beginning phase like a reward in itself. You get the dopamine hit just from starting, from planning, from imagining the finished product. But when the novelty wears off and the actual work begins, your brain stops releasing those good feel chemicals. Suddenly, that project that seems so exciting feels like a chore. Now let's talk about something psychologists call the planning fallacy. When we start a project, we dramatically underestimate how long it will take and how difficult it will be. We imagine the highlight reel, not the boring middle part. We think about holding the finished novel, not the hundreds of hours of editing. We visualize launching the successful business, not the tedious spreadsheets and legal paperwork. Studies have found that people typically underestimate project completion time by 40 to 50%. So that project you thought would take 2 weeks, it's actually going to take a month. And when reality hits and you realize you're only 10% done after putting in what you thought was half the work, your motivation crashes. You start questioning whether it's even worth continuing. Here's something that might blow your mind. Having too many interests is actually making things worse. We live in an age of infinite possibilities. You can learn anything, start any business, create any content. Sounds amazing, right? But psychologist Barry Schwartz discovered what he calls the paradox of choice. When we have too many options, we become paralyzed. You start a podcast, but then you see someone crushing it on YouTube, so you think maybe you should do that instead. You begin learning Python, but then you hear about this amazing opportunity in digital marketing. Every new possibility makes your current project feel less appealing. Your brain is constantly calculating. Is this the best use of my time? Could I be doing something better? Author Seth Godin talks about something called the dip. Every project has a honeymoon phase where everything feels easy and exciting. Then you hit the dip, the long, hard slog where progress is slow, obstacles appear, and enthusiasm evaporates. This is where most people quit. They assume the dip means they've chosen the wrong path, when in reality, the dip is just part of every worthwhile journey. The problem is we've been conditioned to believe that if something is meant to be, it should feel effortless. Social media doesn't help. We see everyone's highlight reels, their finished products, their success stories. We don't see the months or years of grinding through the dip. So when we hit our own dip, we think we're doing something wrong. Here's something deeper. Finishing things requires commitment, and commitment requires knowing who you are. When you abandon projects, you're often avoiding the question, who am I if I actually succeed at this? Or conversely, who am I if I try my absolute hardest and still fail? Unfinished projects keep you in a safe space of infinite potential. As long as you haven't finished, you haven't failed. You can still tell yourself that you could be a successful novelist, entrepreneur, or artist. Finishing means finding out the truth, and that's terrifying. So how do you actually finish things? First, accept that motivation is unreliable. Discipline is what gets things done. Create systems that remove the need for motivation. Set specific times for working on your project and show up whether you feel like it or not. Second, make your projects smaller. Most people fail because they think too big. Instead of writing a novel, commit to writing a short story. Instead of building a massive app, create one simple feature that works. Third, embrace the dip. When things get hard, remind yourself, this is supposed to be difficult. The dip isn't a sign you're on the wrong path, it's proof you're on a path worth traveling. Finally, practice finishing small things. Build the muscle of completion. Finish that book you're reading, complete that short online course. Prove to yourself that you can see things through. Your unfinished projects aren't evidence that you're lazy or undisciplined. They're evidence that you're human, with a very human brain trying to navigate an overwhelming world. But now you understand what's happening, and understanding is the first step to change. What's one project you're going to commit to finishing? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button so we can keep diving deep into how your mind really works.